I really hope I didn't break anything. We may have messed up badly. I really wish we had dealt with this issue earlier. It's been a while, y'all. Welcome to week 7. We literally took like the entire summer off from bus work because we were in the midst of a heat dome, so it was just way too hot to work on the bus, and it's been so long that I literally had to look up what week we were in. But it's good to be back. A few things have changed in terms of the windows, and yes, we're still doing the windows. I know it's getting so old for us too, believe me, but luckily this should be the last week that we will have to work on them ever again, so looking forward to that. A few things have changed with our plan with the windows. So last time we were working on the windows and painting them, we decided that we were gonna stop working on the inside part of the windows and just apply indoor paint to them later on because a lot of them weren't really coming up right. It was a little patchy, but we figured out that actually was not the best plan because we would have to buy one of those huge paint buckets, which we would barely even get through because we would just be applying it to tiny little parts of the window, so that didn't really make a lot of sense. And the other thing we could have done was apply the spray paint to something and just sort of dip a paintbrush and do it like that, but that also just didn't really make a lot of sense. So we are back to painting the inside of the windows again. We're gonna give that a redo, except this time I'm going to be using Kevin's sanding block and just sort of sanding down a little bit of the rougher edges and seeing if maybe that'll help. And we'll go from there. But first, we need to get our workstation set up. So let's go. Y'all remember the good old workstation? Actually, I don't think I ever mentioned exactly what these things are. These are actually from the bus. These are the roof panels. We actually still have a pile of garbage over here that we still have not gotten rid of. Don't even ask. Procrastination at its finest. But yeah, we've been using our roof panels from the bus, and they have been working pretty well, but because they have like these little holes in them, we had to put a blanket under it. But so far this workstation has done us pretty well. So for a brief moment I forgot which windows we were supposed to do, which is funny because before Kevin went out of town to go see his friends, we literally went over like an entire brief of what I'm supposed to do and which windows I'm supposed to do, but I just figured it out. I'm supposed to be doing, I forgot that we haven't painted these emergency exit windows at all. So we have 4 of those to do. We're gonna have to do both sides, so the inside and the outside. The ones with the tape are gonna be the ones we're not keeping because of our layout here. We're not gonna need to have windows here. And then when we go over this cord that we really need to get rid of soon, because this is a very big hazard, we're gonna do, another emergency exit window. We're not keeping this window. Then we have 1, 2, 3 on this side to do. And yeah, like I said, so all of these are pretty much done, at least the ones that we're keeping, except for the 2 emergency exit windows on this side as well. This one's literally stuck. We've actually had this issue with a lot of windows, but I figured out a secret weapon, so let's go get that. We've officially gotten it out. Kind of. There we go. This thing almost fell on me, by the way. I really hope I didn't break anything. I was gonna make the joke that it's good to be back, even though it's not, but it low-key is good to be back. I asked Kevin about if I should open the window or not, and he said to open it, and now that I have it open, it does make sense, because if it was closed, you wouldn't be able to get into these crevices here. And also just realized that taping this to cover it and make sure it doesn't get paint on it is going to be an absolute pain, so wish me luck. First side is done, now for the other side. finally, we've got one side done and sitting. It's got to sit for about 15 minutes. And while that's happening, I'm going to get my next window out because obviously I can't turn this one over yet until it's dried all the way. So I'm going to go and get that next emergency exit window up in the front there. Low-key, y'all, I had a bit of a little mental breakdown earlier. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but I got a little frustrated earlier with the window a little bit. I'll be honest, because I did a little bit of the sanding. I don't know if I did the sanding properly though, because I texted Kevin and he told me to go like in a circular motion and I didn't do that, so maybe that was the problem. But the paint is still showing up a little strange, and yeah, I just had to calm myself down a little bit. I'm a bit of a perfectionist here, so it's really hard for me sometimes to accept that some things just aren't perfect. But that's just gonna be the lesson today, you know? And my other thing that I've really been getting on myself today for some reason is with how long it's taken, because I've been out here, I think 2.5 hours or 2 hours, I don't even know at this point, and have only gotten that part done. I'm just gonna keep acknowledging that I also have this to do as well, so that's probably why it's taking me longer than normal, plus I'm also new at this, so even though I've done this in the past, I'm still learning. But yeah, just gonna keep going and moving forward, and we'll get on to this next window. So, we may have messed up badly. I will give you an explanation after I call Kevin and figure out what our next steps are gonna be. So, I know the lighting is terrible. Honestly, this entire thing has been a mess so far, ever since yesterday, or well, the day before technically. So, as you can see, I no longer have spray paint on me. Yeah, this is also my first time opening paint, mixing it. Never done that before, was not expecting to do it. Basically, today's Thursday, and I started on Tuesday. Tuesday was an absolute disaster, at least the ending of it. I really wish we had dealt with this issue earlier instead of now, because we've gotten, at least I've gotten a lot of the painting done on the windows now, to where it's kind of too late to turn back. I guess it technically isn't, but it would be really unfortunate to do that after all the work that we've done. But basically, as I've been telling you, the paint has not been showing up properly on the windows. And it's not a huge issue with the outdoor windows because you can't really tell. And honestly, they look fine. It's the indoor parts that we do not like, because we can really tell a lot of them are kind of patchy, not showing up properly. So we're not too happy about how it's been turning out. I don't know why it's taken us doing almost all of them to finally come to this conclusion. But it's one of two things. I went to the hardware store yesterday, which was also another big thing that's out of my comfort zone. I don't know why going to the hardware store alone as a woman is so intimidating, but it is, at least for me, especially someone who is not used to doing these things alone. But yeah, everyone was super helpful, especially this one employee. And I asked him why the paint might not be showing up properly. And he said that it might be because we didn't strip the old paint off, which Kevin did his research and he said, it depends, because some people are able to leave the paint and some people do strip it to bare metal. We did not do that. And the problem is, we don't know what kind of paint this is on those windows, the old paint. And if it's an oil-based paint, that might be why it's not showing up properly, because it's not sticking properly. If we do end up stripping the old paint off, we're only going to do the inside part, because like I said, the outside part is fine. So if we are able to, we might just do the inside part. That would still be a lot of work, and it would undo a lot of our previous work, but that is worst case scenario. This is our next option. I got an oil-based paint from the hardware store that I'm going to try out. If the old paint is an oil-based paint, this should be able to stick more properly to the window and to the old paint. and it should look better. The other thing that I didn't know was that this paint takes 2 hours to dry. I got so used to the spray paint, which only takes 15 minutes. So my plan right now is there's really not going to be a lot going on today. I'll see how much I could get done. I am going to just paint one side of one window with this paint. I'm going to wait 2 hours and I'm going to see how that looks. If it looks the same, we're either gonna have to strip off the old paint or just deal with this paint or the spray paint. If it looks better, I have this nice big can now to use, so that's what we're hoping, is that this looks better and that this sticks better and that everything works out and that we could just use this for the rest of the windows. If we want to, maybe we'll take what we did and strip that and do it with this, or we might just add little touch-ups, because honestly, it's only certain areas. But yeah, I've done a lot of talking now, so let's just get to it. I've moved the window in the bus. It's done with the paint. Well, I actually only did one side because I don't want to paint the entire window and then not like it. So I'm gonna wait the 2 hours. I moved it in the bus since it's gonna take 2 hours so that dust doesn't fly around, because I actually, I don't know if you've noticed before, but I live on a dirt road. So having cars come by kind of kicks up a lot of dust. So having it in here will be better. I'm gonna close the door. So in the next hour, I will come back and check on it, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to finish with it today. That's probably, well, firstly, that's gonna depend on how it looks, and if we like the way it looks, then we will continue doing it the way it was done today. But I honestly was so overwhelmed today. I've never done any sort of painting like that before. Doing new stuff can sometimes overwhelm me, especially when it involves a project like this where I don't really want to mess things up. I want to make sure I get everything down as good as possible. And yeah, I'm a little stressed out, not gonna lie, so I'm gonna chill out. If I get down to finishing the window today, then I will, but if not, then I'll see you tomorrow. All right, we've got good news and we've got bad news. The good news is this window, the paint looks awesome. It looks way better than the windows that we did with the spray paint. There's a little bit of imperfections, but we can work with that. The bad news is that I'm gonna be working on the rest of the windows with that paint. So now I don't know if I should go back to the old windows and redo that with the new paint. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So the plan is, I've got my window from yesterday ready to paint. My current strategy is to paint one side of this window, and while it's drying for the 2 hours, I'll grab another window, do one side, and then repeat the process. I also had to move my workstation over by the garage instead of where I was before, because I think I mentioned it before, but I live on a dirt road, so the workspace that I normally work at is where the bus is parked, and it's literally right by the road. And when cars come, it kicks up a lot of dust, so I decided to move a bit further away from the road, mainly because it just takes so long for the paint to dry. If we were doing the spray paint, then it would have been fine to just stay over there, but yeah, let's get started. I had to change into boots, and I had to change my shorts because apparently paint gets everywhere. This is getting a bit repetitive, so let's just, all done. Oh, did you think we were done? Look who decided to show up today. As you can see, we are not painting today. This is our current situation with the windows. As you can see, they are kind of everywhere. Some of these need second layers, and some of these still need to be done on the other side. So yeah, we are taking a pause on that, and clearly we are not finishing with that this week like I had hoped, but what's new? Luckily, we have gotten done 3 windows that can potentially be resealed. That's what Kevin is doing right now. He's taking off the some of the old sealant that I wasn't able to get off because I am not that good at that. We're actually not too sure if we're going to be able to reseal this one though, because this one has a bit of some paint missing in the corner, and it's also leaking. So we might be skipping this one for now, but we can at least get 2 done today. So we'll just take it from there and see where we go from there. I just realized that going through each post and using the drill to get the rest of the paint off would be much more beneficial to do that before we put the other windows in. So I am just going to do that now before I forget, like I did before. Finally, some good news is we were able to reseal this window after all. All right, that about does it for today. I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't finish with painting the windows this week like I said we would, but even if we did, we still would have had to reseal them. So either way, things are not over with the windows, and I would say they would be done by next week, but at this rate, I have no idea. And I don't really want to make any promises that I can't keep right now. But yeah, that about wraps it up for week 7. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, then make sure to subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.